Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Oklahoma Sportscene, presented by Bricktown Brewery. I'm Chris Singh, along with the Hall of Famers, Gil Cloud and J.B. Haney. And, of course, this is the big week. Super Bowl 52 is on everybody's mind right now. We're going to have a very special guest to talk Super Bowl.
We're excited to have Steve Largent to come in. Steve, of course, played for the Seattle Seahawks, and I got to know Steve really when he used to work out with Dean Blevins at our campus there at Union in the summers to get ready to go back to the Seahawks. But we're excited to get his take on this year's Super Bowl and some of the things that are going to happen around Super Bowl week.
And, of course, we have a very special guest, the athletic director here in town. That's been a long-time athletic director, done a great job out at Oral Roberts University.
Mike Carter is going to be aboard, and what a job he has done at Oral Roberts University. And just recently, they had the homecoming and brought back all of the Hall of Famers from Oral Roberts University, and some of those names kind of had gotten by me, and suddenly there they are, and great memories. So Mike Carter is going to be a very special guest.
And Tulsa Public Schools, speaking of Hall of Fame, Gil, you got your Athletics Hall of Fame coming up this week.
This Thursday night, a lineup of 14 really outstanding individuals. And our guest today, Cathey Barkley, went in last year and was really a trailblazer for girls athletics in Tulsa Public Schools. And we're going to talk to her about what this means to all of those that go in.
That's the lineup. Let's take a look at now some of our hot topics. And, of course, we'll start with Super Bowl 52. I just checked, guys. I can get us tickets to the Super Bowl. Upper corner, $4,650 a piece.
Is that all?
Oh, well, get me about four of them.
That's
right.
upper corner. I mean, Gil, it's just a corporate world now, isn't it, for Super Bowl?
80% more to go first class.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't even check. That's upper corner. I didn't even check the 50-yard line.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's amazing. And really, what is really interesting about that, Chris, is I heard this the other day on a sports talk show that the players literally, their take is not near what their salaries are. So it's interest on what their salary really is.
Sure, yeah.
And for $4,000 a ticket, are you kidding me?
What do you think of the matchup, Coach? The New England Patriots, no real surprise there. But the Philadelphia Eagles have been underdogs all the way through. They're already opening a 5.5-point underdog against the Patriots.
Well, I think that that is really about what they should be. Because when you look at the Patriots, what they have done and what they do right at the end, they shouldn't have won that one the other night, but they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I tell you, I think the guy that's pushing the deal is the guy who makes the dog mask. Because they all wear being the underdogs.
Yeah, all the underdogs, that's right. That's Lane Johnson, a former Oklahoma football player. The lineman is wearing those masks.
But it just seems to me like that when they play, that they're going to win, and they believe that so strongly that something will happen in the closing moments, and they win it.
Did it again.
When we come back, Steve Largent joins us. The first of three segments. He's going to talk NFL, TU football, Hall of Fame, all coming up next with Steve Largent on the Oklahoma Sportscene, presented by Bricktown Brewery. Bricktown Brewery invites you to come on in and enjoy some of their twisted comfort foods. That's right, comfort foods you may remember from your childhood, from the past, but with a Bricktown twist. How about these items? Jalapeno Spam Fries. That's right, fried jalapeno Spam sticks. How about Hot Link Corn Dog? Schwab's Hot Link Corn Dog served with bread and butter, pickle slaw, and Cycles mustard. Or an extreme bacon tomato grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup. How about Boom Boom Shrimp Mac and Cheese? Get it at Bricktown Brewery.
Sammy, what are you doing?
Revving up the new year in a style. What are you doing?
My New Year's resolution is to save money, so I started a savings jar.
You need to check the trunk of the new 18 Accord over there. It's loaded up with savings.
Ooh, loaded with savings. Come on, Sammy.
This month at Don Carlton Honda, lease the all-new 2018 Honda Accord Sport for just $287 a month.
This new year, make the right resolution with a new Accord from Don Carlton Honda.
A new year Sammy style.
It's got to be real barbecue, right? Not some frozen meat cooked who knows where, who knows when, and then trucked in. No, it's got to be the finest cuts. It's got to be a lot of choices, like 9 different meats. It's got to be fast for dine-in, carry-out, or catering. It's got to be smoked fresh right there that day over aged pecan wood. It's got to be the place where all the barbecue wannabes take a back seat, because they can't compete. It's got to be real barbecue, right? It's got to be Billy Sims.
Billy Sims Barbecue. Eat like a champion today.
Well, it's almost time for Super Bowl 52, February 4th up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And Of course, the game between the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles. And we couldn't think of a better guest to talk Super Bowl and NFL and Hall of Fame, and a Hall of Famer himself in Oklahoma, Steve Largent. Steve, welcome to Oklahoma Sports.
Thank you, Chris. My pleasure.
Got to give folks some of your background. You're a Tulsa native, but then played your high school ball over in Putnam City.
Right. Yeah, I went to Putnam City High School in Oklahoma City, the Pirates, and just had a great time playing football and trying to figure out my life and who I was and what I was going to do in this world. And I was recruited by the University of Tulsa, came here to TU, of course, and graduated in '76, and was able to continue my football playing career after that. It turned out to be Seattle. I was drafted by the Oilers in the 4th round, then ended up being traded to Seattle, and enjoyed a real nice 14-year career there, and it was a lot of fun.
14 years is a long time in the NFL, isn't it?
It really is. I didn't know it when I was playing 14 years, although I was vacillating between playing 13, ending my career at 13 years, or coming back the next year, and I decided to go ahead and come back and play one more, but knowing it was my last year, because I was always told, a guy named Randy Gradishar, played linebacker for the Denver Broncos, a great Ohio State player, told me, he said, you've got to decide before the season starts whether you're going to retire or not. Because once the season starts and you start playing, he said you'll never retire because you'll always, be wanting to come back and play another season. But if you do it before the season starts and say this is your last year, that you'll end up retiring. And that's exactly what I did. And I think he was right. So it was wise of me to do that. It's his wisdom, not mine.
Steve, as a retired coach, I always have this question. Name me some of the coaches that had an impact on your life in the high school and all the way up into the pros.
Yeah, well, I had many coaches that had influences in my life, not just on the football field for sure, but one guy was Jerry Potter. Jerry Potter was the great high school coach here in Oklahoma, recently passed away maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but really a great man and just a real solid citizen, number one. He just was a real class guy and really taught good, hard-nosed, tough football. And if you wanted to play for him, that's how you learned to play. And so I really learned a lot from Coach Potter. But then I went into college, and I was really fortunate that my freshman year, the spring of my freshman year, the University of Tulsa brought in Jerry Rome. And Jerry was, a great college player, of course, runner-up in the Heisman Trophy, quarterback at TU, and played with Dallas Cowboys and some other teams as well. And so he had a lot of professional experience. He came in and put a professional passing game and offense together for the University of Tulsa the end of my freshman year, so the beginning of my sophomore year. And for some reason, Jerry just had an affinity for me. I had a real strong work ethic. I wasn't the fastest or strongest or biggest, but I understood what he was trying to do, and I tried to implement it on the field. And so I kind of caught his eye my sophomore year, and then ended up playing 3 years at the University of Tulsa. And he was my offensive coordinator, and just a really great person, and a real great player, and a great coach too. And had a big influence on my career and the trajectory of my career, as later on he was with the Seattle Seahawks when I was cut by the Houston Oilers, and he was the guy up there in Seattle saying, we got to get this guy, we got to get this guy. And I didn't know this, but Jerry had put in our entire passing game from the University of Tulsa in the Seahawks game plan. So when I went up there after I got cut, I was running all the plays I'd been running for 3 years and knew where to line up and how deep the routes were and when the ball was going to be thrown and all the stuff they were still trying to grasp because Seattle was in its first year, and I knew it. And so it was a real advantage to me having Jerry there and running the same offense. So Jerry was a very influential guy in my life. But then I had a receivers coach in Seattle that was also a big influence, a guy named Steve Moore. And Steve's no longer coaching, but he was just a real solid guy. And when he came in, I was probably in my 9th year or so, so I was a pretty established veteran on the team. But he came in and he pushed me. He said, I'm not going to let you sit back and think that you've learned everything you know about the NFL. I want to push you and try to make you even better. And that's what he did. And so we developed a really strong relationship. But Steve Moore was a very positive influence in my life and in my game.
Steve, you probably don't remember this, but one of the big reasons you became an All-American is because this outstanding radio play-by-play man.
Absolutely.
Just started his career.
Yeah.
He was to Tulsa. In 1974, I came to Tulsa, and it was Jeb Blunt, the quarterback?
Jeb Blunt, yeah.
Throwing to you and stuff, and we had some great times there with F.A. Dry.
F.A. Dry.
And some fantastic times there at TU. And again, you talk about, to me, this is the definition, Coach, and you always appreciate this, of an overachiever. All your life, you're kind of the Baker Mayfield story we're going through this year. You were always told you were just too small, too slow.
Too slow.
So how did you sculpt an All-American and then a Hall of Fame career, Steve?
Well, I think two things. One is I had a really strong work ethic. So I was always willing to stay out on the field longer, be out there earlier to catch balls for the quarterback and work on my routes and do the things that I needed to do to become better as a player on the field. I think that's one reason. I think another reason is that I was sort of fearless out on the field. And you have to have this ability if you're going to play wide receiver, because you can't be thinking about anything but catching that football wherever it is. And I just saw too many receivers cave and not be able to concentrate on the football. And that was one thing that I felt like that I did really well. And I caught a lot of balls too. So I worked at my game. I definitely put the time in.
I led the NFL in receiving in 79 and 85, 7-time Pro Bowler, first one for the Seahawks, and of course the first Seahawk to be inducted in the Professional Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it was that was a real special time, Chris. It was really something to see my teammates come back and a lot of the coaches that I played for and against, and then to see all the guys that were already in the hall that were there, and then to know that my name was going to be up there alongside theirs. It really, I still don't believe it happened.
Why don't you catch us up on what you're doing today here in Tulsa?
Well, there's a lot of iterations of what I've done. After playing football, I came back and was in semi-retirement in Tulsa, and then ran for Congress, was in Congress for almost 8 years, ran for governor, lost, then went back to D.C. and ran the trade association for the wireless industry for the next 11 or so years. And did that, and I loved that job, and really had a good team around me, and really kind of managed the business the way I felt like good football coaches manage their teams. And we just had a lot of fun together and produced some good products for the industry as a whole. And that, of course, was a time when the wireless industry, the cell phone business, was just really growing leaps and bounds. So it was a really fun job. To be in. But I did that for about 11 or 12 years. And at that point, my wife came to me and said, when you took this job, you told me that we were going to move back to D.C. for 5 years and then come back to Tulsa. And it's been 10. So she said, I think it's time. And so I got the message, and I told him, I said, look, I love my job, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, but I made a commitment to my wife, and I'm going to keep it.
And you and Terry have been married how many years now?
We've been married 43 years now.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So anyway.
We have a lot more to talk about with Steve, including as a spokesperson for Cleartone here in town now. And by the way, he is an absolute user of these. You need better hearing aids too, by the way, Coach. We'll talk more about the Cleartone people coming up later with this. But when we come back, we'll talk to you about the matchup of Super Bowl 52. It is going to be, of course, the New England Patriots against the Philadelphia Eagles. But first, Coach, what's going on with the GTR?
Well, first of all, we always want to recognize Forrest Cameron, because he does a great job. He puts out 6 of these GTRs in the metropolitan area of Tulsa. So wherever you are in Tulsa, you can read about things that are going on, whether it's sports, whether it's a society page, or whether it's just plain news. All of it can be found on the GTR. Pick one up today. You have them near you.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
Remington Park is now officially open around the clock. That's right, we are 24/7.
We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight.
So when we say the party never ends, you better believe it. Remington Park, now open 24/7.
I'm Kirk Smith, and this is my story. I'm a captain of TU's track and cross country teams, and I'm a Rhodes Scholar. My life's pretty simple. I run, I work, and then I run some more. My research focuses on combating climate change by driving down the cost of energy storage. And that's my story. So far.
Bricktown Brewery's Oklahoma Sportscene, very proud to have as a guest with us, Steve Largent. We'll talk now Super Bowl 52. Steve, let's talk about the matchup. It's, well, what a surprise. The New England Patriots against the perennial underdog for these playoffs, the Philadelphia Eagles. Your thoughts on the game?
Well, I tell you, I think initially you look at this game and most people will say that New England would be a heavy, heavy favorite in this game. But I tell you, in games like that where you have a team that you think is overwhelmingly going to win the game, that underdog always has a way of, coming back and biting you. And so I think it could be a closer game than a lot of people give it credit for. New England, I think, would still be the favorite, regardless of what the score ends up being. But I think that, I think Philadelphia will come to play.
What do you think about the Philadelphia defense?
Their defense is outstanding. Their defensive backs are really good, but their front seven really can put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and that's how they won the game against Minnesota yesterday. So it's a team that is to be reckoned with. Their defense is the best part of their team, and that's what it takes to get to the Super Bowl. You got to have a good defense. You can get by with an average offense and still win the Super Bowl, but if you got a great defense, you can shut people down and keep it close.
You've played with a lot of good quarterbacks, and you've seen a lot of good quarterbacks during your career. Tell us about Tom Brady.
Well, he's in a class by himself. I mean, in my view, he's head and shoulders above everybody else that's ever played the game. I'm talking about everybody else, and he's elevated his game to that point. If he wins this Super Bowl, I mean, he's just entered a different stratosphere. But he's a great player. He's a great leader. You'll see him on the sideline talking to the guy, just doing this. You can't hear what he's saying, but you know what he's saying. And he really has the leadership thing down pat. And he's just proved himself to be a great player, great leader, a great teammate.
Amendola said that after the game yesterday. He said, he is our leader. Mm-hmm. When the guy asked him, he said, well, this is the 11th time in a playoff situation he's come from behind. He said, well, we just expect that because he is our leader.
Yeah, I think he expected it on the sidelines too. I saw him going up and down talking to those guys on the sideline while they were still down by 4. Mm-hmm. And there was no doubt when they got that ball with 2 minutes left or whatever, they were going to score. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Well, that was the thing that just really impressed me was at times at the beginning of the game, he's not out there talking, but when it gets down to where it is wire cutting time, he's right there visiting with each one of them, and they respond to what he wants.
Yeah, they do, and they end up being in the places that he wants them to be, and he puts the ball right on them. There's never a situation where he's throwing the ball behind guys or below guys or anything like that. He's putting the ball where he needs to put it, and those guys are hanging on to it, and it's a real credit.
Well, Steve, I've heard you're kind of the prototype, they say, of what we have seen now in Amendola and like Wes Welker. You kind of started that, and that's really been a very popular position in the NFL.
Well, the thing I did was catch the ball and not make any excuses, and that still pays dividends in the National Football League. It doesn't matter how big or fast you are. If you don't catch the ball, you're not going to play very long. And so that's what I tried to, make my niche doing, is catching the football when they threw it to me.
What do you think about Nick Foles as a quarterback?
He has really been impressive. And you think about how many games he did not play for Philadelphia. And then they have that tragic injury to their quarterback, and Nick Foles comes in And I'm not going to say Philadelphia didn't miss a beat, but they didn't miss many beats. He came in and he really played well. And I think for him to be on the bench and to see the game from a different perspective was really beneficial for him, because when he's come in, he's really played outstanding football. And so, I mean, he's not throwing he didn't throw an interception, I know, yesterday. It was like 26 or 36, something like that, and over 300 yards. That's outstanding in a playoff situation. That's just great football.
It is.
You know, Steve, you talked about speed. I can remember when you played at the University of Tulsa, watched you many times on television, and what I saw, now maybe I was prejudiced, but it seems like when you made a cut that you went on a straight line. You didn't run a loop. If you run a loop, it takes longer to get from A to B, but you would go straight, and as a result, the ball came, great hands. Am I wrong about that?
Well, no. The thing is that people often mistake having good 40-yard times to being a good receiver running routes, and that they don't equate. I've seen a lot of guys that are very, very fast that run terrible routes and can't catch the football. And so you think, oh, this guy would be great. He's 6'2" and he can run a 4.5 or 4.4, but he can't catch the ball. He can't block. He doesn't run the right assignments. Those things count a lot when you're playing in the game of football. So I tried to be great at the things that I could be great at. I knew I was never going to be a sprinter, but I tried to run good routes and be where I was supposed to be when the quarterback expected me to be there. And that's how I made my living, is just beating guys on the routes and then catching the football. So that still pays dividends today, as you see in the New England Patriot.
February 4th, Steve Largent will be at the Super Bowl in Minneapolis. We're hoping he might take us along with him. We mentioned at the start of the show the cheapest ticket for Super Bowl 52 in the upper end zone is $4,500. We can only assume, Steve, you will be in the Delta Club, but it's $44,000 a ticket. Where will you be for Super Bowl Sunday?
I'll probably watch it on a TV. I'm going to be at the game. They're going to introduce all the people that have won what's now called the Walter Payton Award, and then it was called the Travelers Man of the Year Award. I'm there for that introduction.
You won that award
in '88.
Yeah,
in '88.
Great
so
award.
I'll be there before the game and watch the game there from Minneapolis.
The thing about the teams, we don't want to talk about losers, but they talked about how young Jacksonville was.
Yeah.
And a lot of young talent. And, of course, Minnesota didn't live up to, I think, what they wanted to be defensively in the game. But tell us about Jacksonville. What do you think about them?
Well, I think they're poised for a great future because their team is built around that defense, and their defense is very, very good. Talk about defensive backs. They've got some defensive backs that really can play football. And they got linebackers that can run. They got a defensive front that puts pressure on the quarterback. They may have a little trouble defending the run, but they can play football, and they'll be around for a few years to come.
What do you think about the quarterback situation at Minnesota? You got three on the staff.
Yeah, I
Sam
know.
Bradford.
That's right. I was just driving past Sam Bradford Avenue yesterday or day before in Oklahoma City, but. I think they're going to have a competition next year, and I think it'll be tough to, you can't deny that the quarterback that they have now has not done a great job. He almost was in the Super Bowl, so it'll be heated competition for Sam in that next training camp.
Well, when you look at it from that standpoint, what do you think he can make it? That he will recover that number one?
Sam?
Yeah.
I think he can. Sam's a long quarterback. He's a tall quarterback, and he can throw the ball really well, and he's a great leader. So I think he can get back in there. But this experience that Minnesota had this year was invaluable, and Sam's never had that experience wherever he's been. And so that's gonna really serve the quarterback well that played all the games, and he did a great job. And I remember watching him play when he went to the University of Houston. He's a good quarterback, and I'm really glad he got a chance to play. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in Minnesota. But they'll be back. They're another team that's built around defense, and they'll be back, and they'll be strong next year.
We'll have more Super Bowl talk with Steve Largent, another special guest coming on our Oklahoma Sports Scene. Bricktown Brewery, stay with us. Bricktown Brewery invites you to come on in and enjoy some of their twisted comfort foods. That's right, comfort foods you may remember from your childhood, from the past, but with a Bricktown twist. How about these items? Jalapeno Spam Fries. That's right, fried jalapeno Spam sticks. How about Hot Link Corn Dog? Schwab's Hot Link Corn Dog served with bread and butter, pickle slaw, and Cycles mustard. Or an extreme bacon tomato grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup. How about Boom Boom Shrimp Mac and Cheese? Get it at Bricktown Brewery.
My name is Junior Itu, and I'm from the Republic of Congo in Africa. The struggle was the language. The culture was a lot different compared to where I'm from. I'm thankful and grateful to be here, and it's a place where I feel like it was a perfect fit for me. The thing I like best about Tulsa and play basketball here is the fans. You know, they come out here every day and show support and show love. From the Republic of Congo, I play for our city.
It's got to be real barbecue, right? Not some frozen meat cooked who knows where, who knows when, and then trucked in. No, it's got to be the finest cuts. It's got to be a lot of choices, like 9 different meats. It's got to be fast for dine-in, carry-out, or catering. It's got to be smoked fresh right there that day over aged pecan wood. It's got to be the place where all the barbecue wannabes take a back seat, because they can't compete. It's got to be real barbecue, right? It's got to be Billy Sims.
Billy Sims Barbecue. Eat like a champion today.
Celebrate your home today at Bowen's Discount Carpet for our Shop and Compare sale. Take advantage of our guaranteed lowest prices you can find, great deals on new Shaw floors, and a huge variety of brands and colors that you will have to see to believe. Let Shaw Floors spice up your space, along with 36 years of experience, and the beauty of your floors will shine. Come out to Bowen's, where we refuse to be undersold.
Back on Oklahoma Sportscene, presented this time by Bricktown Brewery, and with, again, Steve Largent, a Hall of Famer, talking Super Bowl. But also, Steve, we have a special guest in the studio with a company you're very much working with now, Cleartone Hearing Aids here.
Yeah, and I really appreciate Cleartone because I have hearing aids myself, and my wife loves Cleartone's product.
Paul Jackson, the Director of Marketing. Paul, give us a bit of background for Cleartone. They really have become the leaders, not just in Oklahoma, but nation and worldwide.
Yeah, exactly. Cleartone's located here in Tulsa, based out of here in Tulsa, and they've developed technology here that is now worn around the world. In fact, Steve's hearing aids utilize technology developed here at Cleartone here in Tulsa. JV also is wearing some hearing aids that have that technology.
No, not quite. What, JV?
Now I can hear you.
Yeah, he needs some more help with that, Paul. But how did you guys get together? A spokesperson, and I don't think anybody would imagine Steve Largent is wearing hearing aids.
Yeah, the Reader's Digest version is I had an ankle surgery and I was laid up, and so I was watching a Football Life marathon on NFL Network, and Steve came on, and I thought to myself, man, I wonder what that guy's up to these days. And then through some connections at church, I wound up getting a text message that just said Steve and had a phone number, and I gave him a call. I didn't think I was going to get that far, so I really didn't know what to do. But I gave him a call. We had him come into the office, and we had a good chat. And it turns out that we really lined up a lot in what we were looking for, what we believe in and stand for. And it's been a really good relationship.
What's the impact been for you, Steve?
Well, they were looking for a spokesperson, and when Paul called me, he wasn't aware that I wore hearing aids.
Really?
And I had a bad experience with hearing aids several different times, and so coming into Cleartone and getting good hearing aids was a real positive benefit for me, for sure. So being able to be a host or a sponsor for Cleartone was really an easy decision for me.
Well, you know, your commercials are the best. And I'll be honest, I have a hard time sometimes watching a commercial that's played over, but it seems like when you come on with Cleartone, it's going to be different every time. And the sincerity of it, I can recognize it and I can appreciate it. I really do.
Well, thanks, JV. I mean, the fact that I wear hearing aids, I think Paul, when he contacted me, he wasn't aware that I wore hearing aids, and yet I was a participant in his industry. And so that really, I think that lends a sense of credibility to what I'm saying, because I do wear hearing aids.
Let's talk about politics.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Love to.
Oh, God. The government's back up and working, right?
Yeah, well, I hope so.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. They just voted to come back for a couple of weeks or something.
I know a lady in our office today, she became a naturalized citizen.
Oh, very nice.
Come
That's
from
cool.
Germany forever, and she went to the Social Security office today, and they said, if you want to change your name back to her maiden name, and she said, well, on Mondays we don't change names. Oh. So she came to the office really upset. So we had a problem with a vendor. today, and I said, this will be a great day for you to call that vendor because you were really upset at that point. But what are your feelings about state politics?
Well, state politics I'm not as involved in as I was on the national level, but I follow it. And it is really concerning to me that it seems that everybody in Oklahoma City just wants to raise your taxes to cover deficit spending. And I think they've got to address the deficit spending first and then look at what you do tax-wise. And the fact that they've got several agencies, at least one agency I should say, that has overspent its budget. They don't even know where they spent the money. And my gosh, I mean, how can you do that? And it's a big number too. It's like $200 or $300 million. They don't know where it went. How can you do that?
And Steve, our education system is what, like now 49th or 50th in the nation?
And remember, that was when Brad Henry, who became governor instead of me, was talking about having the lottery and going to save the education system. And you see where that's gone. But we've got a lot of casinos now, and we have a lottery, but we still have issues in our educational system, and that really is ridiculous.
We ought to have some Super Bowl picks here. Paul, you follow the sport well. New England Patriots or the Philadelphia Eagles. What do you think on February 4th?
Well, as much as I want the Eagles to pull off the upset, I can't pick against Brady.
Coach?
Well, I want to go back to what he was talking about, on the state government.
Wait. No. You got to make your football, your Super Bowl pick. You moved on. You didn't hear a damn thing we're talking about here. Pay attention. Super Bowl pick.
Well, we've been talking about hearing aids.
I know you're not. You missed that second.
So sometimes I don't hear what you say.
Paul, we got to get him in soon to clear tone.
You need to see us at Clear Tone for sure.
That wasn't a bad commercial, was it?
Hey, it works.
Super Bowl pick.
Super Bowl pick. New England.
Oh gosh, Coach.
Well, I think I would take the points and go with Philadelphia.
All right, Steve.
I want to root for Philadelphia, and I will root for Philadelphia. I think New England's going to win.
I can't imagine they won't do it again, the Patriots. Yeah. We have some broadcasts, right?
Absolutely. Bricktown Brewery is our sponsor this time, and we want you,
Paul.
Jeff,
thank you.
Paul, and Steve.
Wow, I've been to Bricktown. It's a good place.
It's a great
good.
place. They do a great job, and
they do,
and really changing the menu almost every month.
Fantastic!
It's really fantastic.
It's pretty cool.
Steve, thanks for joining us. Paul, thank you, and we'll get him in very soon.
Very good. Thank you.
Help you out. My old friend Coach Ted Owens is coming too.
All right, sounds good.
Next on Oklahoma Sports Scene, we go with Oral Roberts University's Director of Athletics, a great friend of ours, Mike Carter. He's straight ahead.
Sammy, what are you doing?
Revving up the new year in style. What are you doing?
My New Year's resolution is to save money, so I started a savings jar.
You need to check the trunk of the new 18 Accord over there. It's loaded up with savings.
Ooh, loaded with savings. Come on, Sammy.
This month at Don Carlton Honda, lease the all-new 2018 Honda Accord Sport for just $287 a month.
This new year, make the right resolution with a new Accord from Don Carlton Honda.
A new year, Sammy style.
Rising from the plains of Oklahoma is a destination for scholars and thinkers, dreamers and doers. This is where hope, hard work, and integrity create tomorrow's catalyst for change. And excellence is the standard demanded not only of your head, but your heart. This is Oklahoma State University, America's brightest orange.
Ditchwitch, 5 words or less. Making the impossible possible.
Technology you can't live without.
Most versatile equipment ever made.
Customer service and support.
Reliable, productive, ground-chewing machines.
We're in this together.
Very pleased to be joined on Oklahoma Sports Scene by Mike Carter, longtime athletic director at Oral Roberts University. Started back in 1994, is heading up the Golden Eagle program. Mike, everything seems new at ORU, though, including even a new logo for the Golden Eagle.
Yes, it was time to roll out the new logo.
And what a success story this has been through all the years there with 2 different conferences. Some of the numbers here, they've had 9 Commissioners' Cups, 149 regular season or tournament championships, sent 82 teams to the NCAA tournament, and 91 All-Americans. Coach, that's quite a record.
Well, we've had some great coaches and great young people. Give it the credit to them.
Tell us about some of the changes with your physical plant. I think they've really been really astronomical in the last 3 or 4 years.
Well, we've had a lot of improvements. We try to do something with locker rooms or event facilities as often as we can. It's so critical not only to competition, but to recruiting. And this year we were able to add our first track facility on campus, the One Oak Sports Complex. So we have that facility, and we put in 6 new tennis courts, and we're ready to start getting those underway when the weather gets a little better for us.
You had a renovation of your men's basketball.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We kind of looked at this as the new era. It was time to kind of turn the page, and so we went to our friends at Hampton Creative and came up with the new logo, new eagle head, the Rise Up campaign, and then we expanded that into the locker room, and the locker room itself has helped us with recruiting already. We've had a couple of young men commit because they saw that as commitment to the program.
You bet.
You know, Mike, every time I go into the Mabee Center, and I've been into basketball facilities all over the United States, but I can never remember one any better than the Mabee Center and the way it was originally built in order to handle tournaments, because so many of the courts and things of that nature can't handle everyone, but you can handle everybody. It's just remarkable.
Well, we forget what kind of a genius that Oral Roberts was.
Oh, sure.
You go back to that era, the Lloyd Noble Center was built, other athletic facilities to play basketball were built. Nobody built a practice gym. Oral knew from the beginning that that court was going to be used for things other than just basketball. He also knew that he wanted to host NCAA and NIT tournaments, so he built it with 4 dressing rooms. Planning ahead.
Yeah.
When he built J.L. Johnson Baseball Stadium, he built it with 4 dressing rooms so that you could have the 4 teams in for a regional. So he was always ahead of his time. And one of the things that I think is so unique about the Mabee Center is that you notice the lower bowl seats about 5,500 in the gold seats. But by turning off the lights in those dark blue seats up top, you go from a stadium that's 10,500 down to a cozy 5,500 seat arena, as if those seats in the blue are not even there. I mean, he was really smart about what he did.
And President Roberts loved his athletics.
Oh, baskkerball and baseball in particular.
Yeah.
Basketball he absolutely loved.
I remember hosting some of his shows out there for Coach Hale and other people like that and stuff. I always had the best TV facilities between both coasts. And Coach, they had a professional makeup person. I never looked better in my life. I love being at Oral Roberts University. It's some great times out there, Coach. And you mentioned shift and change now. New basketball coach Paul Mills. Talk about him and getting the program up and going again.
Paul's going to be a great coach for us. He's young and he's learning as we go. A great fit for ORU. We want our student athletes to absolutely represent all of the 4 characteristics of our university. We believe in developing whole person champions, and that means academically, socially, physically or athletically, and spiritually. And Paul comes to us from Baylor. He came from a family of pastors, and Paul is just 2 classes short of a degree from Dallas Theological Seminary. So the idea that we're going to build up the spiritual lives of our student athletes as well as socially, academically, and athletically, Paul is just a perfect fit for us.
We certainly appreciate our relationship with Tulsa Public Schools and Oral Roberts with the Tournament of Champions. And we spend 3 long days
yes, you do.
every December out there. But the staff, Tony Winters and his crew, just seem to be so accommodating and work well with all the teams that come in. And I tell you, the high school teams that come in are just really impressed and really like to come to the campus, Mike.
Well, thank you. We're about giving. We're about serving, and that's the way it should be. And we love having those young people there. We're getting ready to have an event tomorrow that's called the Greatest Field Trip Ever. We do this every year at a women's basketball game, and we send invitations to schools all over the state of Oklahoma, and they will bus kids in from down in places like the town where I grew up, Keota, Oklahoma, a town of 500 people near Spiro and Stigler and Poto and Salisaw, and they will bring a busload of kids up here, 4th, 5th graders. This may be their only opportunity to be on a university campus and to see a college basketball game. And I just love seeing those kids' faces light up when they get that chance.
Jimmy, I know you love the fact that all those Hall of Famers were back this past week.
Oh my goodness, that was really just rewarding to be able to see that many of them. And I would love to just have gone down and sat and listened to some of the talk that was going on with them. But you know, there's something else I want to ask about the Mabee Center and your baseball complex. The fact that you are able to get the OSSAA to bring in the state tournament in the large classes of both boys and both places and the girls, it's just remarkable.
I think it's great. I think it's a testament to Tony Winters and our entire facility staff. Athletics does not oversee the facilities at Oral Roberts University. That's a different department. They do a great job of keeping them maintained and keeping them prepared and ready for those events, and then working with the Coaches Association, Tulsa Public Schools, and the Oklahoma Secondary School Association to host those events. We enjoy doing it.
Mike, you've got another big event, the ORU Baseball Diamond Dinner, always a popular event, February 2nd at the Glenpool Conference Center, and bringing back one of your great players, Jose Trevino.
Jose was a legend with us. Boy,
yeah.
we knew he was good when we got him, and he got even better in a hurry.
That's right.
And now with the Rangers organization, just doing great work.
Well, we talked about, eventually we were chatting off camera about these incredible, not just salaries coaches being paid this day and age, but then when you get fired, the money you get when you leave a school. I mean, how does this happen, Mike?
Well, it's happening because the money's available at the time, and one of the bigger issues is, I'll just call it leverage. If you really want to coach bad enough, then you're willing to pay the coach. But the coach then has the leverage to come in and negotiate the buyout clause. If you fire him, then you're going to have to pay him. And some of these contracts, like the Texas A&M coach got, my goodness, that's just unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, Todd Graham got $14 million getting fired at Arizona State.
I know. I don't know how you survive that very long.
Well, we have not cash, but nice gift, though, for Coach.
A really good Bricktown Brewery,
yes.
One of our co-sponsors, and we really want to push that to you because I know you'll want to go to Bricktown, and they change that menu every month. So
that's great.
What you may get.
That's great.
Mike, thanks for all your years of service. Oral Roberts University and the Tulsa community. I know how active you are in the Tulsa community and foundation work as well. So thanks for being here, and I've always been a fan of you and Oral Roberts University.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you guys. If there are heroes in this town, it's the three of you. You've been around a long time.
That's
given
a long time.
lot
That's
back
the key.
to the
That's
city.
right. I know it. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mike Carter, our guest, athletic director at Oral Roberts University. Get out there and support the new look Golden Eagles. Right back with more on Oklahoma Sportscene. Bricktown Brewery invites you to come on in and enjoy some of their twisted comfort foods. That's right, comfort foods you may remember from your childhood, from the past, but with a Bricktown twist. How about these items? Jalapeno Spam Fries. That's right, fried jalapeno Spam sticks. How about Hot Link Corn Dog? Schwab's Hot Link Corn Dog served with bread and butter, pickle sauce, and Cycles mustard. Or an extreme bacon tomato grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup. How about Boom Boom Shrimp Mac and Cheese? Get it at Bricktown Brewery.
Sammy, what are you doing?
Revving up the new year in a style. What are you doing?
My New Year's resolution is to save money, so I started a savings jar.
You need to check the trunk of the new 18 Accord over there. It's loaded up with savings.
Ooh, loaded with savings. Come on, Sammy.
This month at Don Carlton Honda, lease the all-new 2018 Honda Accord Sport for just $287 a month.
This new year, make the right resolution with a new Accord from Don Carlton Honda.
A new year, Sammy style.
Celebrate your home today at Bowen's Discount Carpet for our Shop and Compare sale. Take advantage of our guaranteed lowest prices you can find. Great deals on new Shaw floors and a huge variety of brands and colors that you will have to see to believe. Let Shaw Floors spice up your space, along with 36 years of experience, and the beauty of your floors will shine. Come out to Bowen's, where we refuse to be undersold.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
Remington Park is now officially open around the clock. That's right, we are 24/7.
We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight.
So when we say the party never ends, you better believe it. Remington Park, now open 24/7.
Welcome back to Sports Scene. We have a special guest, one of our inductees from a year ago into the TPS Athletics Hall of Fame, and our good friend, Cathey Durbin Barkley. Cathey, welcome to Sports Scene.
Glad to be here, Gil.
Well, you know, this was something that we instituted about 6 years ago, something that we thought would be really important for the school district, but also something important for the city of Tulsa, to recognize all the student athletes that had come through Tulsa through the years. Tell us what it means to you to be a member of the Hall of Fame.
Well, it was such a special honor for me from Edison High School. There are so many great graduates that have come out of there, athletes, and to be a member of this group of 63. We've got 14 more coming in this year. Very honored and taken back, because you think of the thousands of athletes that have come through the Tulsa public school system, and to be recognized is very special.
You know, it is one of those things that we really look forward to every year, to have those come back. And, you know, this year's Edison inductee is Bill Goldberg.
Goldberg, yes.
You know, and,
great wrestler, great football player.
We're really excited about Bill, because not only will he be with us on Thursday afternoon after the press conference, he's going to go visit with some of the student athletes at Edison. Right. And then on Friday night, he's going to do a benefit for Edison Athletics. So we're glad to have those people come back to Tulsa and give back.
And it means a lot to them, you know, to get them to come back. And again, there's been so many great athletes come through the system, and also great administrators and coaches that we've got.
Well, one of the things about Cathey, guys, as we all know, she was really a trailblazer.
They're really much of a spot for girls in athletics, and certainly not in diving when you took part there, Cathey.
Well, back at my time at Edison High School in '74 was my junior year.
You were 10 years old.
And yeah, right, not quite, but my junior year of high school, 2 years prior to that, they had passed with the Equal Rights Amendment, and not, you know, everything that came on with that. The women were allowed to participate in 1974 in non-contact sports against the guys, with the guys on their team. So I didn't get the chance to be on the women's team. I had to be on the men's team.
This is diving, right?
This is in springboard diving, and the Tulsa Public Schools allowed women to compete with men in cross-country, track, golf, tennis, and swimming and diving. So I took advantage of the opportunity so I could compete on a weekly basis, and it gave me the opportunity, again, to do some diving that I normally would not have been able to, because diving wasn't a big sport in Oklahoma, and at the time, my competition really was in the summer times. I'd have to go to Dallas or Kansas City, St. Louis to get some good competition. So this gave me an opportunity on a weekly basis to compete, and ultimately earned me a college scholarship to the University of Illinois.
You're the first woman to qualify for the state championship in diving, and on to 3 AAU championships as well.
Well, I did. Went to 3 national championships on the 10-meter platform. That was kind of my specialty. But I enjoyed doing that, and you know, again, diving offered me so many great opportunities to meet so many people, and you know, I really enjoyed the sport. I've enjoyed athletics all my life. I ended up becoming a physical education teacher and coaching part of my life. I look back on that, and it was really from my foundation and roots at Edison High School that I gained all that excitement about it. JV, you were there. You were there.
I was there, and you know what I remember most? Now, everybody knew you were an unbelievably great swimmer and diver, but you came out and wanted to pitch batting practice for our junior varsity baseball team.
Kind of on a dare, JV, kind of on a dare. But I had a decent arm, and
yes,
so...
if they would have allowed me, I would have pitched you in a junior varsity game because you were that good, but you were a tremendous athlete, and it would have been something to think about if you had come along after everything got to moving to where the girls could be recognized more.
Well, and eventually they did have women's separate sports and softball and basketball and, different sports in the Tulsa Public Schools. And at the time, it was an opportunity to compete, and I loved to compete. And
is that how you became a pro football quarterback? Tell me about that.
That's a whole nother story. That I had some background in playing, flag football and whatnot in intramurals. So I enjoyed doing that. And in 1977, there was the Tulsa Babes appeared on the map in the summer of '77. And so kind of almost on a dare, somebody said you ought to do it. And so I went out, and Bill Van Berklio, who will be in the Hall of Fame this year, great Tulsa Rogers athlete, was the head football coach, and I said, I think I can help you out. And so I ended up quarterbacking, kicking, punting, played a little safety, corner, and we weren't very good. We were kind of the bad news bears of football. But it was it was a great learning experience. I gave it a try.
The true Hall of Famer have something for our Hall of Famer too.
You bet. Cathey, we're really glad you're here today, and our sponsor this week is Bricktown Brewery, and we'd like for you to take Mike and go to Bricktown.
We'll be there. I've been there before, and I will go back again.
Thank you for being here.
And we'll see you at our 6th annual Hall of Fame inductions coming up this
Thursday night. Looking forward to it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Cathey.
All right.
Back with our parting shots. Return on Oklahoma Sportscene. Bricktown Brewery invites you to come on in and enjoy some of their twisted comfort foods. That's right, comfort foods you may remember from your childhood, from the past, but with a Bricktown twist. How about these items? Jalapeno Spam Fries. That's right, fried jalapeno Spam sticks. How about Hot Link Corn Dog? Schwab's Hot Link Corn Dog served with bread and butter, pickle slaw, and Cycles mustard. Or an extreme bacon tomato grilled cheese sandwich and tomato soup. How about Boom Boom Shrimp Mac and Cheese? Get it at Bricktown Brewery.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
Remington Park is now officially open around the clock. That's right, we are 24/7.
We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight.
So when we say the party never ends, you better believe it. Remington Park, now open 24/7.
It's got to be real barbecue, right? Not some frozen meat cooked who knows where, who knows when, and then trucked in. No, it's got to be the finest cuts. It's got to be a lot of choices, like 9 different meats. It's got to be fast for dine-in, carry-out, or catering. It's got to be smoked fresh right there that day over aged pecan wood. It's got to be the place where all the barbecue wannabes take a back seat, because they can't compete. It's got to be real barbecue, right? It's got to be Billy Sims.
Billy Sims Barbecue. Eat like a champion today.
Ready to wrap things up before our parting shots. I want to congratulate our Pathway Panthers. That was our Special Olympics group we had on the show here just a few shows ago, and they went down to the Winter Oklahoma Olympics competition in the Edmond and Oklahoma City area. Really proud of the kids there. They came up with a bunch of medals, including women earning 4 gold medals, 2 silvers and a bronze. The men's swim team, a gold, 2 silvers and a bronze as well. All total, our Pathway Panthers from Tulsa, total of 12 gold medals. Congratulations, kids. Well done. Parting shots, and Coach Cloud leads us off.
You know, as an educator for 48 years, I am very concerned about the state of education in the state of Oklahoma. As our legislature gets ready to go back to work, I think it's very important that they seize that last word, work, to do something better for our kids in this state. Teacher pay is atrocious. Retention of our students, people are moving out of the state. It's important I think, for the state of Oklahoma. And I'm not talking about athletics. I'm talking about the education of our young people, because that's the future of this state. And if we don't stay right now the course and find a way to help not only Common Ed, but higher ed. Higher ed has taken 17% cuts the last 3 years. That's absolutely ridiculous. Gentlemen and ladies, you need to go to work, get to Oklahoma City, and get the job done.
All right, well said, Coach. Certainly our federal government might pick up a lesson or two as well. I know, JB, you've got a parting shot that's going to just shake people up.
Well, I want to say first, I agree with what Gil has got to say. But yes, what I'm going to be talking about now, I'm not promoting, so don't misunderstand me. I'm just throwing this out for you to think about. But when we go to basketball games anymore, it just seems like over and over, I see attempted dunks not dunked. And where they could have had a point, maybe had 2 points, if they had not been trying to dunk it and didn't have the ability to do it. So maybe we could go to 1 point. Now, this is just a think about. Now, you have a 3-point shot, you have a 2-point shot. What if we had a 1-point shot? Now, I think they would be more concerned about making sure that they laid it softly on the glass or laid it softly over the rim. Now, that wouldn't impact if you shoot it short and a man goes up or a lady goes up and dunks it, then that would count as a 2-point. But where you dribble in and slam it, 1 point. Now, I say this, just think about it. It's not going to happen, not quick, but think about it.
Dr. James Naismith is rolling over right now. Well done, Coach. You know, I have never been to Smithville, Oklahoma. I didn't even know where Smithville, Oklahoma was. So I Googled it and found out it's in McCurtain County. That's 184 miles and 3 hours and 3 minutes from Tulsa, by the way. Smithville is 1.2 square miles, and by their last population residents, 113. Just recently, I just found out it was the home of Jim Knapp. He died at age 82 on January 18th after a long illness. Well, thanks to a story by Tulsa sports writer and one of our regular guests, Mike Brown, learn more about Coach Knapp. He was a legendary Oklahoma Coaches Association Hall of Fame career. It included 763 victories. He had 5 state championships, 4 titles in Class B, and then a 1985 championship at Class A Smithville. I also hadn't been aware that it was really Coach Knapp who provided Oklahoma high school basketball with our Hoosiers movie moment. He stunned the basketball world in Oklahoma. They still call it the greatest high school sports upset in Oklahoma basketball history. His Smithville Warriors in 1985 defeated the 4-time state champion Booker T. Washington, the Mighty Hornets, at the Tournament of Champions. They still talk about that as the greatest upset in the history of Oklahoma high school basketball. Coach Knapp's secret of success, a great quote in Mike Brown's story. First, you find 5 guys who can play a little. Then you get to work. Coach Jim Knapp deserves a parting shot. Coach, you knew about Coach Knapp?
Very well, and that is one of the historic things in the Tournament of Champions. And really one of the reasons, I think, JB, is that we have the David and Goliath theory that we've kept in the Tournament of Champions. You know, Mick and I were talking today about next year's field. And we're trying to balance it out where we have the small school and the large school balance. But he certainly made an impact.
Don't forget, join us now. Our next show is going to be Big Al Jerkins. That's right, Big Al, leaving Channel 2 and leaving us, in fact. Of course, the Sports Animal regular host will have Big Al as our special guest on Oklahoma Sports Scene. That's our next show, so be sure to join us.